Hey, what's up? This is Martin G, and thanks for checking out my vector tutorial. This is episode 2, so I'll be doing more of these. And today I'm just going to draw bb-8. He's just my favorite character in Star Wars. I love astromechs. When he was first introduced, it was just love at first sight. He's just so cute. Oh, and by the way, follow along at the bottom here with all the keystrokes so you could get an idea of the keyboard commands and shortcuts. So I'm drawing a blue background. Create a new layer. Let's just call it background. And by moving this blue dot to that layer, I just took this shape and put it onto the background layer. Now move the background layer itself under layer 1 and lock it. Now we can just go draw. With the L tool, or the ellipse oval tool, I'm just going to create a perfect circle and make it white. And here I'm going to option drag the object to duplicate it. And by hitting A, I am going to delete this point. So now I have a half circle. And then by selecting these 2 points, I'm going to hit Command J to combine them, just to make it a complete shape. bb-8 is essentially a ball in a half circle. We're going to do a strict geometry version here. You can select both of these and center it. bb-8 has a little bit more of a bottom portion of his head. So here we're going to use the M tool, which is rectangles, and just draw a box. And I'm going to snap this portion to the bottom here. Pull this out. Select these 2 points. I'm just going to move it around and snap to the bottom of this circle. So here we have a little bit more of an accurate bb-8 head. Also, he has this other piece. I'm going to make another rectangle. It's kind of like this under bevel thing, so I'm going to hold the shift key and the arrow key, and then that lets you move points and things at 10 increments at a time. And I'm going to give it another color. That's a shade of my rich black, which is 60, 40, 40, 100 in CMYK values. This is the darkest black you can go in print. I've been told that paper can only take up 240% of ink, and that's just what I like to use. So now that I have bb-8's head here, I'm going to bring it back down. And for this part, I'm going to combine them. I'm going to go to the Pathfinder and just make it all one piece. And I'm going to draw an eyeball. Oh, and the reason why I'm drawing his head so big, it's just, I love cute things. It's just how the science of cute works. Again, I'm always referring to babies and kittens. When their heads are bigger, it's even cuter. Technically, bb-8 looks like this in the movies, but because of who I am, I'm going to make the head and the body the same width. And for the eye, add a little white circle here. The same thing with Baby Yoda, just the giant eyes, and it's just ridiculously cute. And then a circle here, and within the eye is a red light. So that's essentially bb-8 here. And because we're doing a strict version, I'm going to show you clipping masks, which means I'm going to draw all these stripes for bb-8, and I want them to be inside the shape, so it's perfect, where these orange stripes are not going to pop out. So to make a clipping mask, you want to bring the main object to the front, which is Command Shift right bracket. And then select everything you want inside plus the main shape and hit Command 7. So that just made a mask for the head. For some reason, it makes the main object transparent, but you can still give it a fill. So let's go here to our swatches and make it white. And now we have parts for bb-8's head. So I'm going to select the shape and send it to the back. So now we have bb-8 parts, essentially. And then within it, you can treat it just like every other piece of vector art. So I can now duplicate it, make more pieces, edit things however I want. Now I could move this piece up, shorten it, lengthen it here. So now we have bb-8. I think the top part needs to be gray. Yeah, so here we go. So now, and then you have this piece here, which is more of a little box. So yeah, you've got bb-8's face. And also he has this little circle here. That doesn't need to be inside the shape. This stuff can just live on top of it because there's no need for it to be cropped off. Yay. So the same thing can be done for the body too. He has 6 orange circles around his sphere, but you only see 3 at a time. So let's do this. So make an orange circle. When you command copy and command F, copying things in place where you took it from. So let's make this white. So there's really no need to make it a compound path where you do this. It's going to be on top of a white object. Leave it just the way it is. So here we have one. I'm going to group this just to make it movable. Option drag to make another one. And option drag again here. Now that I have the 3 circles for bb-8, I am going to bring the body to the front, select all the pieces I want, and hit Command 7. And there you have your clipping mask. And then I'm going to make the body white. And now you can move things around. Oh, but then if you forgot something, if you wanted to add something else to it, you will have to release it. So the pull-down menu for clipping masks under Object, and you can go here and release it. So now we're back where we started. What I forgot was all the gray parts on his body, all the doors and all the little levers he has. Let's make this 20%. So I could just make one and then just use that later. So bring that to the front, select all my pieces, Command 7, make this white. And he has more details to it. He has all these lines, he has these little bolts, add random stuff to it. So you have this, that can go there. Take the circle and duplicate it and make that gray too to make more bb-8 panels. So there you go. Oh, you know, I don't like this anymore. I'm gonna take this out. Oh yeah, he also has these stripes up here too that doesn't go all the way around. So I'm gonna do this. So yeah, I think we pretty much have a decent bb-8. I think we have to just add some antenna and we're all set. So give this no fill, give it a stroke, send it to the back, we duplicate it. Ta-da! There's bb-8. Again, when I talk about my styles, I originally started Illustrator doing very strict geometry, circles, squares, triangles. And now with more, I think being more confident with Illustrator, I'm able to work looser. It's still graphic and has hard edges, but now I'm just clicking around and not using clipping masks and just drawing. So if you look at this fan art I did for Rose, and I loved Last Jedi. I'm kind of disappointed with The Rise of Skywalker. I mean, Ray and what they did to Rose was total. So that's just my opinion. Here's another different version of bb-8 where it's a little bit looser. And here I'm tilting the head for personality. bb-8 being shocked by Poe crashing another X-Wing. This was like a fan art thing I did. Then I eventually wanted to make it into a kid's book, and I'm just waiting for, you know, Disney and Star Wars to give me a phone call. And here's some studies on different characters and expressions. And this is how cute bb-8 is. You can move his head around, and he has different personalities. And this is what I loved about bb-8 when you first saw him come out on stage. He rolls out, his head's down, is determination. Here, this is the same thing. Head down, he's running, or his head's back, he's afraid. The head's tilted, he's asking for help. It's funny how much emotion and character you can have with just a ball and a half circle. So with this bb-8, I'm just going to draw a circle too. I'm just going to keep this strict. The interesting thing is having something organic next to something that's very solid or rigid gives it that contrast. So I'm going to Option drag to duplicate the circle, use the direct selection tool to pick this point, delete, and then I'm going to draw another rectangle here. And then I'm going to use the Pathfinder to combine them. Yeah. So let's just stick with this. So for this bb-8, we're keeping the geometric head and body and the eye. So this is where I keep things geometric. Everything else is going to be more freeform and not perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. And this is something I had to like really learn and kind of teach myself, is to just, you know, click. No need to hold shift. Let it be off. Let it be slightly off, because then it gives it more life. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It's fine. So I'm just going to draw, instead of putting the stripes inside the head and the body, I'm just going to draw on top. And be kind of close, be kind of accurate, but it doesn't have to be. Oh yeah, he needs this other circle here. And another circle. So when things are like this, it's a little more interesting. Or maybe that's just where I am these days. You know, I don't. It doesn't have to be exact. Let's make this 3. Oh yeah, and don't forget the little highlight here. And a little red one. Yay, so it's bb-8. So the same thing for the body. I'm just going to draw where I think things might go. It's not going to be perfect. So I'm just going to draw the stripes here. So one drawback by doing this, I'm kind of stuck with what I have drawn. Now for the previous bb-8, you can go in and select it and move it around. It's still intact, while I'm just drawing it from one side, or from one angle. That's okay. No worries. Oh yeah, the thing I didn't add in the previous bb-8 were the lines where things connect. It really depends on how detailed you want to be. If you want to be very basic, simple, that's all good. And if you want to get into every single panel and every single line, you know, do that too. So I'll bring this to the front. These little bolts here. And the gray panels. You can even give a little shadow to the head too if you want. Now I'm going to add that bottom portion too. So here we got this. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, you know. So here we got this. So yeah, I think we got bb-8. So here's your here's a looser version of bb-8 next to the stricter version, and there you go. So even with two styles, I think you get my personality to come across. I think this is just how I like to draw cute things. The way with Baby Yoda, bb-8, just big heads, little bodies, and there you go. Cool. So thanks for checking out this tutorial, and give me a shout on social media if you have any suggestions, questions, or requests, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.